Hi everyone, and welcome to StudioJake. I, of course, am your host, Jacob Airy. Before I get started, I want to remind you that you can pick up any of my novels here on Amazon or BarnesandNoble.com. They're all available for digital download. If you're tired of sort of the politically correct nature of fantasy these days, these are definitely the ones for you. Cacophony is a paranormal novel about angels and demons. I, of course, highly recommend it. Now, if you want the digital download for Breaking the Stars, you have to go to booklocker.com, where is it available exclusively in that format. The Seven Royals, All Good Things, which is the first book in a fantasy trilogy, of which Breaking the Stars is the sequel. The third one is on its way. It's also available at booklocker.com. So definitely check them out. Buy them from anywhere. So as you know, I've been reviewing the Mass Effect series. I don't normally review video games, so I apologize if I get some of the verbiage or jargon messed up. I consider myself a try-hard, not a die-hard when it comes to game. I love gaming, but I'm just not as into it as other people are. My wife is really the gamer of the family, and she's really good at it. My super cute wife, she's always battling monsters and doing something with alchemy or exploring new worlds. Me, I just kind of settle on a game and I just play it. And so my friend, who is known as Scratimus on Instagram, he sent me Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I've already reviewed Game 1 and 2, so now I'm reviewing Game 3. So you are Shepard once again. Your character carries over from 1 and 2. Now, if you remember in 2, you were trying to, you were working with a human organization called Caribus, and they believe that humanity should be supreme in the galaxy, and this is kind of from consequences of the Alien Alliance, what they put on humanity and whatnot. And so you were originally working with them, and because of certain circumstances, you had to destroy a mass relay, and that's something that flings you to another part of the galaxy. You had to destroy one to prevent, I think it was the Reapers from invading, but when you destroyed it, a colony of a race called the Balerians, it got destroyed. So it opens up in 3. You're no longer with Caribus. You've actually quit that organization entirely. You're back with the Alliance, but they are court-martialing you for the destruction of the Balerian colony. And this is something that comes up frequently in the game, is the consequences of that, and how Shepard kind of feels guilty for the loss of life, even though he felt like he did the right thing, because then tens of millions would have died, but he still feels sadness for the lives lost, as any person would. Well, while you're kind of being brought around, your former captain, I think he's an admiral in this game, you and him kind of talk, but then the Earth is attacked by the Reapers. So they were the bad guys in Game 1. You kind of got hinted at them, and maybe got hinted that the Collectors were working with them in Game 2. Well, now they have arrived, and they attack Earth, and they use it as a staging ground for a full-on invasion of the Milky Way galaxy. So with the help of Captain Anderson, who's your friend, he reinstates you. He gives you back command of the Normandy, in fact, so you manage to escape with Joker and Edie. Edie, of course, used to be part of Caribus's intelligence network, but she has since just become part of Normandy. They kind of hint that it's of her own free will that she decides to leave Caribus behind and join humanity and the Alien Alliance. So you're immediately contacted by Admiral Beckett, who has kind of been like a background character in the first 2 games. Well, now he's like a full-on character, and he wants you to kind of rally the Alien Alliance to build an invasion fleet to take back Earth. Now, you speak with the Council, and they're kind of hesitant because they aren't keen on putting their fleets into action to save Earth when their own planets are under siege. So essentially, you have to travel around and do things to help the Alliance. Now, one thing that's interesting is in both games you have a reputation counter, and this can help or hurt you. Well, this time it really matters because you are trying to rally people. So if your reputation is bad, then it looks bad. And of course, right off the bat, I get into a tussle with the reporter character from the first game. I hated her. I hated her in the second game, and you immediately, she tries to insult you again. Well, then you meet a war correspondent, and you invite her on the ship. Now, her you have to be nice to because she can make or break you as you're gathering fleets of ships. Now, there's a whole bunch involved. You also have to visit solar systems that are under siege, and you have to gather equipment. The more equipment you gather, and you can bring it, because you'll like overhear someone at the Citadel, which is the Alien Alliance headquarters. You'll overhear someone. So check out every planet because you can find something. What's annoying though is your scanner pulse now attracts the Reaper ships, and I have to admit that well, I'll get to that more in the review. So anyway, you look up with some old friends. Liara, she moves the Shadow Broker's equipment onto the Normandy. She was one of my favorite characters from the first game. I was kind of disappointed she wasn't a big player, or had a bigger role in game 2. You meet this new human character named James Vega, and I did not like him at first, but he really grew on me kind of instantly. Of course, Caden's on board. You have to win his trust. Your old friend Garrus, who was my favorite character across all games, he's back and just as cool as ever. And basically what you're trying to do is you want to build this weapon that can destroy the Reaper like base, basically. And so you have to work with like all the species to get certain types of equipment. You actually awaken Javik, who is an ancient alien, and he is the last surviving member of his race. He's a really cool character, and he's very strong, very powerful, really good shooter. He's got a really awesome grenade that he can lob at villains. I highly recommend him when you go about questing. But yeah, definitely take him out. You also reconnect with Tally, who is my second favorite character, which more on that later. She was also the character that I kind of romanced in Game 2. You had the option to romance some of the ladies. And some of the characters from 2 return, not all, like Samara, not all of them stick with you, which was a little sad. So you have to gather this whole alliance up, and then when you're strong, your fleet gets to a certain point. They show you like where it is on the scale, and you have a minimum. Now, it was recommended to me that I fill up the bar, because if you try to do it with the bare minimum, the Reapers will cause all kinds of harm to your crew, to your team, to your squad. So I did that. Now I'm going to talk about the game mechanics. This one had the best game mechanics of the whole series. The skill point tree, because one of the problems with the first one was that it was too complicated. With the second one, you didn't really know what it was for, but with this one, they really streamlined it. It was perfect. It was great. I loved it. It made a lot more sense. You could also add to Shepard. You couldn't add to the other characters, but you could add stuff to Shepard, and so I added different types of grenades, different abilities, and increased those as well as I went along. Now, one thing I didn't like was in the second game, when you get a special armor, you are allowed to just have your helmet on all the time. For the second game, I used the Blood Dragon armor. For the third game, I believe it was called the Terminus armor. It was triangular. It was really cool. I used that, but that feature where you could just leave your helmet on all the time was turned off. So there would be like these really weird scenes where you would be talking to someone and your helmet would just disappear, like for no reason, and that was kind of annoying. I wish they would have put like some sort of feature like where it did the Star-Lord thing, where like it would fold over you or something, because it would just be on then off with no explanation. I do have to admit, some of this like extra stuff you could do did get a little tedious, because it felt like you were because at one time you have to get this retired admiral to help you, but for him to get his help, you need a certain type of weapon. Well, then you go to the people who have the weapon, but then they're kind of mad at the admiral because he's been raiding their shipyards. He claims that they have contraband, and so you kind of have to negotiate. That did kind of get kind of long. I was kind of, because you also have to fly away from the Alliance to get the thing that the admiral needs, so he'll back off, and then you can get the weapons from these people, and they help your fleet and all that. That got kind of tedious, and it was so weird because like you would just be walking by, and now this is a part I did not like, where you would just be walking by and a side mission would just start, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm doing this now, when I was kind of in the middle of something. That did get kind of annoying. I wish that they would have like didn't spring it on you so much. One thing I did not realize at the time was how important the Spectre console was. I wish that they would have made that a little bit more important, or a little bit more well known, because I would just go and check it periodically. I wasn't going that often, but and then I realized when I was about ready to finish the game, I realized, oh my gosh, I have all this other stuff I can do that I can add to the fleet, and that I was building, and I didn't even realize it. One of the things that I did like about this game is again, with the choices you make and how they affect your reputation. Sometimes I got frustrated because the choices would be blocked out, and so I'd have to choose a neutral stance, and I don't know why that was. Maybe that was because I didn't do something earlier in the game where that choice would be available to me, but it was never really made clear to me. Now, I did like the reputation bar here. I like the idea that you have to have a good reputation. And everything. I thought that was smart, because you have, whenever you are trying to build an alliance of warships, you do have to have a good reputation, right? Well, I also enjoyed a lot of the DLCs. I did the one for Omega, which of course was a place you could go in the second game. Now in this game, it's only available in the DLC. You can kind of talk to the female gangster who is there. Her name escapes me at the moment, but you could talk to her, and then you went to Omega and you helped her take it back, basically, because Cerebus had taken it over. And then she gives you a fleet of her ships, because she has all these people. So I did like that one. I did like the Shore Leave DLC. That was a lot of fun to play. It kind of showed like how there can be some brief moments of brevity in a war. I thought that was really a nice touch to it. Now, onto the story. Again, I thought this was the best story. I thought that it didn't overwhelm you with the politics of it, that it kept it solid, that it was a blast to hear all the characters that can come back together. I was a little disappointed that some of the characters like Samara or Thane, you couldn't recruit with you. Or Jack. I really liked how they progressed her character, because she kind of goes from being this victim to now she's a person who is training cadets in the Alien Alliance, and I thought that was really cool. She's training, I think they're called biotics, and I thought that was really cool. Now, Samara did have like a DLC you could do, and I was happy to do it, but I really wanted her to join my team. Same with Thane. And spoiler alert, he does have kind of a heroic end with the game, even though you can't really use him. But yeah, I thought that it was really good. It was really interesting. It was a lot of fun. The graphics were way better than the first two. Like it felt like it leaped into better graphics that were pretty cool. So anyway, that's one of the things, like I said, was more on Tali. Tali was my second favorite character, of course, Garrus being my first favorite. He's the Tyrian sniper. I loved having him with me through the whole game. Tali does not come in until about halfway through. And a kind of funny story is you find out that, so there's this alien race called the Geth, and they are robotic. And you actually find out that the Quarians, they all live on a massive fleet. and even their last names are from the ship that they leave on. Like Tali's she has the Normandy because of events that happened in the second game. Well, you find out that the Geth, that the Quarians created the Geth as this AI, and they went out of control. And of course, you meet Legion, who is from in the second game, and he's a Geth who wants to destroy the evil Geth. Now, the game presents you this choice where you can choose between the Quarians and the Geth. And honestly, I thought this was kind of funny. I wanted to choose both. So I kept trying to do like what I felt was like diplomatic choices, but my first time around, I accidentally picked the Geth, and so Tali actually jumps off of a cliff because she sees the Geth and fully invading her planet, and then the Geth ally with you. Well, I did a quick load almost immediately, so I'm like, no, Tali's my second favorite character. I can't go on with the game like this. So I totally did it the other way around and sacrificed the Geth. So my fleet was a little bit smaller. I did find out there was a way to choose both, but for some reason the option was never presented to me. So, or I just didn't notice it, more than likely. But I did think that was kind of funny. I was sad that she wasn't introduced till the middle of the game. I think she would have been better had she been introduced at the forefront, and it would have made, just because she's my second favorite character outside of the rest of the squad. So that was that one little aside. Now, loved the finale. I thought it was amazing to play, and again, a lot of the choices you make determine the ending. I like the ending, just spoiler alert. So I got the ending where you succeed in defeating both Caribus and the Reapers, and you find out that the Reapers have been doing this for ages. They're an AI, and what they do is every 1,000 years or so they come into the Milky Way and destroy it, and then let people rebuild, and when they think that they're too powerful, they come back. And they've been doing this for generations. Well, so you basically, the ending I got was it ended where I succeeded in defeating them, and like I said, Caribus, but they'll come back, basically. And so my ending was basically Liara leaves this recording for future generations, warning them of the danger of the Reapers and that they'll be back one day. So I'm not really sure. So overall, let's see, I gave the first game, I think I said it was, a 3, maybe 2.5, I can't remember. I want to say 2.5. Game 2, I said was 3.5, and I would give this one a solid 4. Like I said, just because of the nitpicky stuff I mentioned earlier, I thought it was great. I'm going to, whenever I play video games, those are the things I take into account. I take into account story, graphics, and gameplay / mechanics. So that's how and then rate them on a scale of 1 to 5. So that was my experience with Mass Effect. Let me know what you think. Did I get some of the jargon wrong? I apologize if I did. Again, go easy on me. I'm sort of a newbie and a normie when it comes to this sort of game style. And I would say out of the 3, I would definitely play the third one again. I might play the first 2 just so I could build up Shepard the way I would want him to be built up when I, to get him. But really, 3 was the best of the trilogy. I enjoyed it tremendously. It was fun, it was strategic, and an overall blast. And let me know, did you like my game reviews? Would you like to see me review more video games? I apologize for not showing any of my gameplay or whatnot because I'm a small channel, and YouTube, those pranksters, they always like to flag us smaller channels with, trademark violations and copyright issues and whatnot. So that's why I didn't do any of that. I'm not going to show any of that, but that's the explanation. But if you would like to see more of these, please let me know, and maybe I'll do a few other video games. Who knows? If you liked that video, please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Give it a thumbs up, and I would be honored today if you would subscribe. No matter what platform you're watching on, please subscribe, hit that follow button, share it out all over the place, and check me out on some of my other socials. I've got links in the description below. Also, check out my website, StudioJakeMedia.com, and consider supporting this channel on StudioJakeMedia.locals.com. It really helps us smaller creators out. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.